the boy never imagined. That's simply because he was born into a family of fire mages yet lacked fire magic aptitude, and instead awakened the most useless alchemy. He would be suspected of not being his father's true son, and exiled to a small frontier village. This place was fraught with danger. Monsters roamed nearby, and enemy invasions could strike at any time. In his father's eyes, he would not survive for long. But what no one knew was that for Phil, who carried memories of a past life, alchemy was a hidden treasure of limitless potential. Under his hands, that small village would one day become the strongest fortress city in history. Yet at the age of 2, Phil knew nothing of the future. He had just crossed into this world, discovering he had no extraordinary talent. The only good news was that he was born into a marquis family, so at least he could live without worry. With the wisdom of his 30 years from his previous life, he learned anything with ease. At home, he was praised as a prodigy. At only 2 years old, he began studying the nation's culture and history. This made his father hold high expectations, especially eager to see what Phil would achieve once he awakened fire magic at age 8. In this world, magical aptitude was tested at 8. Nobles prized the 4 elemental attack magics: wind, fire, water, earth, or healing magic. Any talent outside these was considered a disgrace. As a scion of a fire mage family, his father had no doubts. Until then, Phil could only read books and train in swordsmanship. He had dedicated tutors for both. With the intellect of a 30-year-old, he learned quickly, earning the admiration of every teacher. At first, he was curious about everything, but over time, monotony set in. One day, he asked his maid to take him to the city streets. There, they encountered a father, trying to sell his own son as a slave. In poor families, children were sometimes sold to survive. Phil could not bear it. He spent money to buy the boy, though he intended to set him free. The boy had nowhere to go, so Phil decided to bring him home. But family rules allowed only slaves to enter. Thus, Phil had no choice but to form a slave contract, though branded a slave. In his heart, Phil was his savior. Once he adapted to life in the estate, he became Phil's most loyal guard. Days passed. Unlike other nobles, Phil did not flaunt his status. He often mingled with servants. His reputation in the domain was high. Everyone hoped he would one day become their lord. But at age 8, his magic test brought his father's fury. Phil's aptitude was revealed to be the most worthless alchemy. Not only was it a magic even commoners could perform, his father suspected he was not truly his son. After all, they were a family of fire mages. In his rage, his father tried to kill him. At the critical moment, the eldest son intervened. He suggested sending Phil to a frontier village as lord. That village was on the brink of ruin, surrounded by monsters, bordering an enemy nation. Phil would surely die soon. This way, the family's honor would remain intact. His father found the reasoning sound, and agreed. Phil never expected that at such a moment, a brother with whom he had little connection would protect him, though it was a death sentence. It gave him a chance to live. The next day, news spread that Phil was being sent away as lord. Though strange, most assumed it was training. Only those close to him knew the truth. Phil prepared to fight alone, but unexpectedly, others chose to follow him. His devoted maid, his sword instructor, his tutor in reading, and more. He would not go alone. Because of his kindness over the years, many in the domain came to see him off. And so, surrounded by farewells, Phil departed.